What makes summer the absolute best time to visit Iceland? For how many days should you visit? Where should you stay? And what can you expect in regards to weather? What should you pack? And what are the absolute best experiences and activities that you can't miss while in Iceland? You'll learn all that and more in the next couple of minutes. And if you pay close attention, this will be the only video that you'll need to watch before packing your bags. I'll try my best to make it short, concise, and accurate, and I'll be sharing tons of practical info and insider tips from a local's perspective that will help you make the absolute most out of your trip. The only thing that I ask in return is that if you find this video helpful, you give it a like and consider subscribing for more travel tips. If you're new here, my name is Dan, a born and raised Icelander, and in 2014 I created Wake Up Reykjavik, where our mission was to help travelers like yourself have the absolute best experience here in Iceland. We host some of the top-rated small group tours and activities here in Iceland, and we love sharing helpful and honest advice right here on YouTube. Before we get started, here is a montage to show you why visiting Iceland during summer is a decision that you won't regret. Unreal nature, hot springs, fantastic culture. Iceland truly is a destination like no other. Now there's lots to cover, so let's jump right in. Iceland is home to 400,000 people, and 2/3 of that live in our one and only city called Reykjavik. But when you land in Iceland, you'll actually not be landing in Reykjavik. You'll be landing at our international airport, which is located in a town called Keflavik International Airport. And that's about 45 minutes driving from Reykjavik. To get to Reykjavik from Keflavik, you'll have 3 options to get there. You can take a rental car, you can take a taxi, and you can take the flybus. If you're renting a car, then the car rental companies will have pickups at or very close to the airport. And the drive itself to Reykjavik from Keflavik is relatively simple, 45 minutes straight road, and it's especially simple during summertime, since during that time of year, we won't have any ice or snow on the roads. One issue with having a rental car is that parking in Reykjavik is very limited and expensive as well. If you're going for convenience, then taking a taxi is an option that makes a lot of sense, and it's also one of the more affordable options if your group is from 4 to 8 people. There are always taxis waiting outside of the airport, but one important tip is that when you're taking a taxi from Keflavik to Reykjavik is to use a company or a taxi company called Reykjavik. I'll spell it here. It's our oldest and main taxi provider in Iceland. Super reliable. They've been around for forever and used to be the only taxi company in Iceland. Very legit. But in the last couple of years, we've had all these new taxi companies being founded here in Iceland. Some of them are great. Some of them are a bit sketchy. And I've been hearing word that some other taxi companies, not Reykjavik, are charging travelers way more than they should, whether it's for taxi rides here in Reykjavik or for airport transfers. So be sure that you're always being charged the correct amount. Use Reykjavik. I'll add their number here as well, and they also have an app. I think it's just called Reykjavik Taxi app. I don't have it because I just call them, and you can use that to order a taxi as well. It's the closest thing we have to Uber or Lyft here in Iceland. The third and final option is to take the flybus. The flybus is a large bus that goes from Keflavik to Reykjavik, and it departs after every single flight arrival in Keflavik. Now this is, I would say, one of the more affordable options, especially if your group size, if you're traveling by yourself, or if it's 2 of you or 3 of you, then taking the flybus is most affordable. You can either take the flybus to a place called BSI Bus Terminal. It's here in the central area, or you can pay a little bit more to have them drop you off at a bus stop close to your hotel. So when you're deciding on that, you can kind of see, all right, where's my hotel located? Where's BSI? What's the walking distance? And if it's very close, you can just have them drop you off at BSI, or if it's 15-20 minutes walking, then you might want to pay a little bit more just to have the transfer closer to your hotel. And if you're wondering where to get tickets to this flybus, you can book it online, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend that since you can also buy tickets to the flybus in the arrival hall when you arrive. Now, a question that I also get asked a lot is, where should I stay while in Iceland? Now, one way to explore Iceland is to rent a car and drive around the country. Now, my personal recommendation to travelers and friends abroad that are visiting is to not do that, but instead to make Reykjavik their home base, and more specifically central downtown Reykjavik, often called 101 Reykjavik. The reason being is that downtown Reykjavik is very walkable and has the best restaurants, shops, cafes, bars, pretty much everything that you'll need. And from there, it's also very easy to take day tours outside of the city to explore some of our stunning nature that are just right outside Reykjavik. There are plenty of great hotels with fantastic reviews to choose from. I always use booking.com or Airbnb when I'm traveling myself, and I just simply filter out what has great reviews and what has availability on the travel dates that I'm traveling on. I recommend doing the same, but again, just make sure that your location is great to ensure that you're close to everything. Now here's a quick hack. When you are browsing for accommodations on Airbnb or booking.com, is to, on another tab, open up Google Maps and see the walking distance from the accommodation that you're looking at to some of our major central landmarks like Harpa Concert Hall or Hallgrímskirkja Church. These are two landmarks that are very centrally located. So if you see that the accommodation that you're looking at is within walking distance from either of these landmarks, you're golden. When it comes to trip duration, you want to stay for at least 3 full days in Iceland, at the very least. If you have the time and the budget to stay for 7 days, even better, but at least 3 full days. There's so much to do and to see here in Iceland that you won't have time for it all. But the longer your duration, the better. Now, I've had people on tours that I've been hosting that have been staying in Iceland for 14 days that are still saying they're going to come back to Iceland, do some of the stuff that they didn't have time for on this trip. And what a lot of people will actually do is they'll come to Iceland twice, once over the summertime and once over the wintertime. This is definitely something I recommend doing because Iceland is like 2 different countries. Summertime and wintertime, both are amazing, but it's completely different. Even though Icelandic is the native language in Iceland, everyone here speaks perfect English. Exhibit A. In fact, we actually start learning English in the 1st grade, so everyone speaks English. You don't have to worry about any language barriers when chatting with the locals. But hey, if you want to impress while in Iceland with some Icelandic words and some Icelandic phrases, then we've actually created a few videos with some simple, easy to learn Icelandic phrases that we have here on our channel, and I'll link to them in the description below if you want to check those out for your trip here to Iceland. Our local currency here in Iceland is the Icelandic krona. Some people, when they hear that Iceland is in Europe, they think that our currency is the euro. It's the Icelandic krona. But while in Iceland, you won't really need any Icelandic krona, or cash, that is. You can, at the airport, go to the currency exchange to exchange dollars for krona if you want to have it, but there's really no need for it. I live here in Iceland. I haven't used cash in many, many years. I don't remember the last time I used cash because Apple Pay, credit cards, and debit cards work everywhere. You can use that wherever you go. Summer is Iceland's busiest season, similar to most travel destinations. So naturally, during this time of year, the price for flights and hotel tends to go up, especially if you book with little notice. But since you're watching this video and planning ahead, you're already 1 step ahead of the game. Price isn't a real issue if you're booking with some notice. The real issue in summertime, Iceland, is the availability. Tours, hotels, and even popular restaurants can book up in advance. So it's definitely smart to book everything with some notice, especially if your trip is on a tight schedule. Throughout the years, what I used to do when I was traveling is I would go to a new country and I would just kind of play it by ear. I would hear about this restaurant, oh, let's see if they have availability tonight. Or I'd hear about this experience, oh, let's check it out. Sometimes I would be able to do it, sometimes it would be booked up, but that's not the way to travel. Best way to travel is to be a little bit organized, watch videos like this, do your research online, and plan the perfect trip and have everything booked with some notice so you can do the exact activities, experiences, restaurants, stay at the hotel that you want. Everything's perfect because it's available because you booked it with some notice. Now, I've been to places like Paris, London, or Greece during summertime, and they were absolutely packed with tourists, which in my opinion made it feel a bit less special. Iceland is different, and even during its busiest season, it doesn't feel too crowded. To give you an idea, France gets around 100 million tourists per year. Spain receives around 94 million tourists per year. Italy receives around 70 million tourists per year. And even Denmark receives around 32 million tourists per year. Whereas little old Iceland, we only get 2 million tourists per year. So even though tourism is growing in Iceland, it still has that very authentic, special and unique feel to it. Next chapter is the Icelandic weather in summer. Summer in Iceland is absolutely magical, but it's not tropical. Between June and August, you can expect temperatures between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius, which is around 50 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. On warmer days, it can even hit 20 degrees Celsius, which is around 68 degrees Fahrenheit. But it's always good to be ready for a little bit of wind and a little bit of rain, because Icelandic weather, well, it does what it wants. So you can expect long and bright days, and especially during the end of June and early July, we have something called the midnight sun, which is basically 24 hours of daylight where the sun never sets. You should also expect some cool and fresh air, perfect for exploring and for not overheating. And then you should also expect unpredictable weather, sunshine 1 minute, and rain the next. So pack smart, bring a light waterproof jacket, some good shoes for hiking, and even something cozy, even during summertime. So on to our last chapter of this video, which is best experiences and activities to do in Iceland over the summertime. If you ask me, the perfect Iceland summer itinerary is a bit balanced. It has some culture, it has delicious food, it has cozy hot springs, and it has some amazing sightseeing. It has a little bit of everything. So let's talk about activities, and to make things easier, I'll link to everything that I'm discussing in the description below, and I'll also add a promo code where you can save some money for your travels. Now let's start with culture and delicious food, and specifically the Reykjavik food walk. This is the first tour that I ever created back in 2014 with my best friend. We built it with one goal in mind, which was to give travelers a fun and personal intro into our hometown through its food, stories, and hidden gems. Today it has over 15,000 5-star reviews and is the top-rated tour in all of Iceland. But despite its popularity, it's still that cozy, small group experience led by friendly locals who genuinely love showing you around. Pro tip is to do it on your very first day in Iceland, since it's the perfect way to get oriented, to make some new friends, and to start your trip with some fun and with some delicious food. But summertime is the most popular time of year for the Reykjavik food walk. I definitely recommend booking this with as much notice as you can. Since it's a small group experience, it tends to get sold out with some notice. Now let's talk about hot springs and sightseeing, because this combo is hard to beat. Now my two current favorite hot springs in Iceland at the moment are the Secret Lagoon and the Sky Lagoon. The Secret Lagoon is rustic, peaceful, and has a very local feeling to it. This is one of our oldest lagoons, and back in the day, this is where Icelanders learned how to swim. Now the Sky Lagoon is much newer, but man, it is absolutely amazing. I think it might be my favorite hot spring in Iceland at the moment. It just has such a cool looking feel to it. It's amazing. I try to go there honestly any chance that I get, and I have a date night with my lady tonight. We're going to the Sky Lagoon, and we have two awesome combo tours that pair these lagoons with the iconic Golden Circle sightseeing route. We have the Golden Circle and Secret Lagoon combo tour, and then we have the Golden Circle and Sky Lagoon combo tour. Both give you that perfect Icelandic day where you combine some waterfalls, nature, and incredible sightseeing with a relaxing dip in a hot spring. Now, two other iconic sightseeing routes that are absolutely brilliant are the south coast of Iceland and the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. Travelers have a tricky time pronouncing that. Snæfellsnes. I often hear Snæfellsnes or something, but the correct way to say it is Snæfellsnes Peninsula, and it's absolutely beautiful. And we do offer a small group tour that visits all the main sites. And there are three things that I really like about that tour. Number one, the sights and the scenery is absolutely beautiful. It's so cool looking. Two is that the Snæfellsnes area is a little bit less commonly visited from tourists and from locals as well in comparison to other sightseeing spots. Something about that makes Snæfellsnes a little bit more special in my opinion. And the third thing that I think is absolutely amazing about this tour is that it includes lunch at a small horse farm. It gives it a very unique and special feel to it. The other sightseeing route that I mentioned is the south coast, and if you like waterfalls, then you'll love this tour. It's always fun to experience, and especially on beautiful summer days. The cool thing about it is that you can do the classic small group south coast tour, which includes all the main highlight sightseeing spots of the south coast, or you can combine it with other things like glacier hiking on Sólheimajökull for those looking to mix some beautiful sightseeing with some adventure. So for culture, hot spring, and sightseeing, these activities got you covered. Now, if you'd like to meet some animals while in Iceland, then it's good to note that during the summertime, it's when the whales and when the puffins are out. These animals are so different from each other, but they're so majestic in their own way. It's possible to do whale watching tours and puffin tours that depart from the central downtown Reykjavik area, just by the old harbor, where it's a few minutes walking from your hotel. They don't take much time, and it's a fun way to mix things up a bit, to be out on the water and to see these majestic animals up close. The sighting percentage of whales on these tours during summertime is around 98%. And if you don't see any whales, you can simply go again on the tour for free. And the sighting percentage of the puffins during summertime is around 100%. Since during summertime here in Iceland, we receive around 8 to 10 million puffins that migrate to Iceland over summer. So there are plenty of puffins to see, and it is honestly so cool. So definitely recommend that as well. There you guys have it. Everything that you need to know for a trip to Iceland in the summer. Awesome activities, where to stay, general info, what to expect in regards to weather. I think we covered all the bases, but if there's anything that's unclear, or if there are any questions on your mind, definitely leave them in the comments. I always look at the comments for our latest videos and try to reply to every single comment that I can. I hope it came in handy. If it did, please give us a like and consider subscribing for more travel tips here in Iceland. And I'll see you guys in Iceland soon. See ya.